Well, welcome
Hey,
back,
good evening.
everybody. Now,
Hey,
now look,
hey.
look at welcome back to fishing. Florida West Coast Fishing Report, and here's the difference. Captain Mike is up in Crystal River. He had rain a while ago. I'm sitting in San Antonio, and it's pouring rain. And Ron is sitting in South Tampa.
No
Beautiful
rain.
sunlight, no rain.
No rain.
That's Florida.
Yeah, that's
I'd
Florida.
rather I'd
Yeah,
rather have the rain.
that's why
Oh,
we
yeah.
went ahead and went out today because we thought, well, we'll get out early enough, maybe it won't happen, and it was a beautiful day out there.
Yeah. I mean, today they called for a beautiful day today and yesterday, but then starting tonight, they said this front's coming in or whatever, and
Yeah.
everything was going to kick up, you know?
Mm.
So,
Yeah, we had they said about one or two. We started supposed to get some storms, but it never really happened. So
well, and now the water in the bay, I can tell you one thing from last week, it was not very clean. Now, you said, Ron, you said it was clean around Egmont.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clean. It was cold, still about 76, 77.
Yeah.
But I actually got in the water, so it felt good.
So,
yeah,
so up there, yeah, because it flushes really good. But at least Friday, I can tell you, Tampa Bay, it was still almost like coffee, like coffee, like a café con leche.
yeah.
I should have, I should have told Angel today to put a double shot of that Cuban coffee in Jennifer's coffee, get her really perked up.
She drinks coffee every day, so she's used to it.
All
I
right.
don't.
Oh, you don't. I drink it once a day. That's it. One cup. I don't
No,
need any more than that.
I don't touch it. No, just
Alejandro's
never been
on.
a coffee drinker.
Yeah, Donald's on. So what I want to know is what's going on with all this wind, guys? We continue to talk about it. It just 2 days of decent weather. Now it looks like another 5 days of real bad wind.
Yeah, another front. Got a lot of east wind happening lately, and just got two. We're kind of stuck in the middle between two fronts. You got a high pressure over there and on one side of Florida, and you got another pressure over here on the other side. And um, I watched the Benteski where you can actually see it, and that's still that line. I think I talked about it last week. That line is just right on the low coast of Florida, and both sides are just kind of pushing in on us. So hopefully, this little front that comes through, we're supposed to get 2 or 3 days of good rain, and hopefully that pushes everything out, and maybe we can get back to some normalcy again. Tired of
Yeah. Well, we need the rain though. I can tell you where I'm at. We need
oh, no
rain.
doubt. Yeah.
I mean, we're hurting for rain, so I'm all gun ho. Now, I don't know if you saw the news, some of the new rules that are coming out. This became effective April 1. New 10-inch minimum size limit and 20 fish per harvest bag limit for recreational golf lane snapper.
Is there it's just the limit? They've changed the limit size, and
Well,
they
I'll tell you
changed
what I'm
any
going to do.
dates?
Let me look at my 2026 saltwater recreational book and see what it said before the change. And let's see here. Let's see here. Here we go. Here we go. Uh, Lane snapper. Atlantic and Gulf used to be 8 inches. It went to 10 inches. And before, it used to be 100 pounds per harvest, which you remember, that could have been 50 fish, 60 fish. It depends
Right.
how much they weigh. Now it's 20 fish per person and 10 inches. So they went up 2 inches and actually set a bag limit, which is okay. But
Yeah.
here's what scares me. Okay. What is a commercial?
Oh, nothing. It never is.
See, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they didn't do anything to the commercial bag limit. So here again, the everyday guy is paying the price. It isn't right. I
Right.
mean, I can understand. You think there's a problem with it and we need to cut back for a while? Fine. Let's cut back, but everybody cuts back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what they did. They went to a 10-inch per and 100 and only 20 fish per person. You know. So that's it.
Right.
And then there's
Yeah.
another rule change. I don't know if I've been watching all of these. Okay, spiny lobster season closes April 1, which was last week. And then a permit spawning season closure inside special permit zone starts April 1. So, but they didn't show me a map of what special permit zone was. So that didn't do me much good. You know. And that's about the only two things that I've seen lately from FWC that had any changes. You know.
Yeah.
I think the snapper season's still pretty good.
Oh, and yeah, the governor's announced plans to rebuild the Skyway Fishing Pier.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
But if the Birdie Boys control it, you won't even be able to fish it. You'll have a brand new, beautiful fishing pier and can't fish out of it because you might catch a bird.
Catch a bird? What?
Well, you know, they put all these rules at the Skyway Pier about fishing
Uh-huh.
because
Pelican.
the bird
Pelicans.
guys say, "Oh no, you're snagging, you're catching birds." So now you're only allowed 2 rods. That's all you can use. Can't use any more than 2 rods. You know, and all of this other bunch of stuff that they came up with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The other part is that some of the bridge they're going to rebuild, or it's going to be walking only. You won't be able to drive your cars on it. The Skyway.
Oh,
so
wow.
you'll have to do a long walk to get
Yeah.
to your spot.
You'll probably see a lot of electric scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll see them for rent right at the beginning, right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a business opportunity.
That's right. That's right.
Scooter.
There's some golf carts at the end of the pier. Okay, so just to answer your question there, Sergio.
Okay.
Quotas and limits. Commercial fishers often operate under an individual fishing quota, allowing them to harvest a specific large portion of the overall allocation, while recreational anglers are limited to small daily bag limits. So there you go.
There you go. So in other words, commercial guys can keep just catching the crap out of them.
Yeah, they have a certain poundage that they have to do. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen Deadliest Catch. You have so many pounds that you can catch at a certain quota, and they try to meet that quota. Otherwise, they're not going to get the money that they need to make a profit that year. So yeah, they get that. As long as they get that quota, that's all they have to be regulated on. So yeah,
that happens.
thanks.
What can I tell you?
Now, we'll say at the other point, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars for those licenses to do that.
Well, but the average angler pays thousands and thousands of dollars to buy a boat and tackle and gas and everything else. Yeah. So I mean, I understand what they're doing, but I mean, if we're doing it for conservation, I guess is what I'm saying. Then
right.
we need to conserve across the board.
Yeah. Then again, if you're gonna dox the recreational fisherman and limit how much he can catch and the size limits and everything else like that. And I understand commercial guys have a harder time dealing with size limits because of long lines or nets or whatever else like that. Very difficult to deal with size limits because by the time the fish gets up there, it's probably dead anyway. But if you're going to start hitting us recreational to try for conservation, well, then maybe those quotas for the commercial fishermen need to start dropping.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm asking is that
right.
if you're going to drop the everyday guy because you think there's a problem.
Mhm.
Then if there's a problem, you need to resolve it, and you don't resolve it by just getting the everyday guy and cut him back so the
Yeah,
commercial guy can keep his quota. That's not
right.
fair either.
Yeah. And of course, I would say probably the mom and pop commercial guys, the local fisheries and stuff like that probably aren't the ones that do a big damage. It's those massive boats that they have on those big commercial companies that are just out there with those huge production boats, is where the problem is, I think.
And that's, I'm trying to. The other thing too is on the Skyway Pier. You said, Ron, that they're only going to do it walking. That they're not going to have it so you can drive there.
No, I think that a portion of what they're going to do is going to be a walking pier. What's going to happen over time? It's not going to be economically viable to keep maintaining that bridge. Continues to deteriorate, and it's going to be more expensive to repair the bridge than it is to build a walking pier. That's what's happening now, and will probably continue to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, have they mentioned how long they're going to make this pier?
no, I saw it. I've seen some renderings, but I don't recall anything specific. It's pretty unique that you can drive out on a pier like the Skyway and fish right next to your vehicle.
Well, it
It's
makes it
very
nice.
No, it's great. People love it. There's a lot of activity out there.
And and it generates, it does two things. It generates money, and it gets people that normally can't, they don't know where to fish. It's an easy place to go. You pay a little bit of money, you got a nice
Oh yeah,
atmosphere, you got bait, you got an
it's
artificial reef.
yep. It's very scenic. You can watch dolphins. You can watch the sunset. It's nice. I've taken people out there that don't even like to fish, and they like to go out there just to be there.
I think it's a nice thing. Now you said, Ron, you said you were around Egmont yesterday, and the
Yeah,
water was clean.
yeah,
And how
yeah. It's
busy
pretty
was
clean.
it? Was it pretty busy being Easter?
Incredibly busy. Incredibly busy. Not people fishing, more people, sandbar, pulling up the sandbars and grilling and camping and hanging out for the day. I didn't see near as many people fishing, but it was a pretty decent weather day. It was a moderate wind. It wasn't real windy, and it wasn't calm. It was kind of in between.
Yeah.
It was a nice day. I mean, everybody with a boat seemed to be out on the water.
Now, did you see bait? Was there bait on the surface?
No, I didn't. I didn't really look too much. I don't recall seeing a whole lot. No.
No. Well, yeah, because I'm going to be down there next month for Memorial Day week. I'll be down there camping and fishing. So,
Well, I tell you,
Yeah.
listen, hey, Ron, let's you and I get together tomorrow and order some little waterproof pouches.
For Mike,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I won't use it. I'm not going to use
No,
it. You can't.
they put his cell phone in it.
I've got one of those. Actually, my captain's license, all that's in that. It's underneath console. That's where that goes.
I'll say this: as soon as that phone hit the water, Mike was in after it. He didn't
Yeah,
waste
well,
any
And
time.
so was the remote control for his trolling motor and the truck and the keys to his truck. It was
Yeah.
all in the water.
all in the water. Just what happens. Yeah. I reacted, and the dumb thing is the phone that I have is waterproof, and it can stay under for hours, and you can take pictures and do all the stuff that you need to do. It's completely waterproof, and just not thinking, and just decided to jump in. But again, when I jumped in, I sunk up to my waist in mud more than I did.
It was that muddy, huh?
Oh, I just hit a bad spot and just sunk. So
Wow.
It is what it is.
Yeah, you can lose the foam for not being able to find it as easy as you can getting wet.
Yeah, right.
So that's
Yeah.
why you
Oh,
jumped
and-
in, because
And today I was over at Lee Fisher, and you guys are going to be impressed. He came out with a D-hooker that is fantastic.
Really.
You know, I have one of those stainless steel ones that are like $50, the long one, you know, with the squeeze. He's got one like that, but it's got a nice big grip. The one I've got, it's got a thin metal stainless steel grip. This thing has a nice big grip on it. And I mean, wait till you see it. It looks like a tank. It feels great in your hands. And it's, you know, to get in there and get that hook out.
for
It's going to be $24.99 retail, which is the other one's like 40. And then the other thing he did is, you know, that those the small D hookers that we use, the little blue handle that FWC, and
yeah.
you see them for like $2.99 somewhere. He
Yeah.
got smart. He made one just a little heavier than that with a bigger grip, blue grip, but it's got notches for like your fingers to grab around it, and it's big enough that it ain't going to slide from your hand, and a heavier wire to dehook it, but it's a small thing. So in other words, for the trout and all the smaller species, Key West grunt, seabass, it's perfect because the one from FWC is great. I use it all the time, but that the handle's so small that it can slide off your hand. And the wire is short and small. His wire is just a little longer, a lot thicker, but the grip is twice as big. And it's actually got the indentations for like when you grab something. I mean, I think it's gonna be like $5.99, I think, which is not
Oh,
bad. No.
yeah. Not bad. Yeah, that's the only thing with those hookers. You can
I've always
got wet hands, and it's hard to keep a hold of those things.
And then I had something strange happen to me the other day. Brand new knife, took it out, started cleaning mackerel last Friday and some mango snapper for my clients. Man, it was ripping the meat apart. A brand new knife. You feel it, and it felt like it was sharp, but when you put it to fillet, it wouldn't cut. I think so. I just took it back to them, and they gave me another one, brand new. I just wonder, could the machine maybe not put the right edge at the right angle and cause that problem?
It sounds like there's a bunch of burrs on it.
No, I mean it didn't. I mean, I started to go, and it's like it was almost like ripping through the meat. So I got the other knife, and it's just right through.
Interesting.
So that's life in the water.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, at least you had fish to clean.
Yeah, I did, and you
Yeah.
know, I timed it just right. Uh, I played a game. It was a gamble, but it worked out, Mike. I wanted to go to this one spot, but to get there, you got to have a certain amount of water.
Mhm.
Or if not, to get to this place, you're going to have to go through about a football field, 2 football fields long, that is real shallow.
Yeah.
And I at the marina it was 7:45, and I looked at my tide, and the tide was going out, and it was just borderline. And I said, you know, if I can just make it, I don't care what happens once I'm in there, because I'll have plenty
Mhm.
of water to fish, and I'll be in there for 2.5 hours. By that time, the tide would have changed. I can get out. And
Right.
man, it worked just right. I just got in there. We sat there for 2.5 hours catching mango snapper. We caught snook. We caught some redfish. We caught a shark. We caught ladyfish. Uh, some nice mangrove snapper. And
Mhm.
about 2.5, 3 hours later, in comes two captains. They finally made it in. They could get in. I was leaving.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I hit it
Yeah.
just right. Now I
Yeah.
could have got stuck in there because this is a place you don't go in with an outgoing tide.
Right.
You know, because you can get stuck. You ain't
Mhm.
going either in or out. But I made
Yeah.
it, thank God. You know.
Yeah, we got a few places like that here, especially it's called Fish Creek, and it's very, very skinny out front, and you can get in there, but hopefully the tide is either coming in or if you get there, depending on the tide height, but especially wintertime, you get in there, you're stuck there for 4 to 6 hours waiting for that tide to come back in. So, yeah, it can be a little hairy getting those places. Timing is everything.
Well, Mike, just so you know, Sergio's a lot stronger than he looks, and he's really good at pushing a boat.
No, I'm not. No, my clients are. Somebody's got to stay in the boat
Clients.
and control it, right?
Sergio gets his clients to get out there and do it.
If I learned anything in life, it's the captain never abandons his boat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, the captain always stays in the boat till the end.
You tell him I'll take some money off the price if you get out and push.
No. I tell him, if you want to go home tonight, you get out and push.
Yeah.
Hey, believe me, I never forget. I've had some horror stories. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I think everybody's done this. I had just gotten my brand new Schaefer, and I used to keep the boat in Little Man up there in Little Harbor, and I didn't know the area that well because I hadn't been fishing down there much. But I just got in the new Schaefer and I put it in the marina down there. And man, this was in the winter, and I come across this little sandbar in the Little Manatee River, and I didn't realize how fast that tide was going out and how long that bar was. And I got about a third of the way in, and I hit that slippery mud where everything just slides, and I could feel that big heavy Schaefer just sliding in. And I figured, okay, it's going to be 2.5 hours before I can get out. I actually called Jason Prieto, and he was home. And I said, come over and do me a favor. Take these clients and take them fishing until the tide comes back in. And he did, because I couldn't get that boat out. That mud is real slick, and it's kind of like a vacuum. I had to wait till that tide came back
suction.
in. And it was about 2.5 hours, 3 hours later before I had enough water that I could actually pull it out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It'll get sucked down in there and it'll stay. Yeah, Buddy Andrew and I have had that happen, thinking we had enough water to get to the backcountry to go check on some spots, and we're running, and as we're going through, both of us kind of looking down, going, I don't think there's enough water here. And sure enough, here comes the motor out of the water, just shut it off and just glide, and all of a sudden, just get stuck. And then you just sit there.
It's too late then. You've already committed.
Yeah, you're committed at that point, and there's no water to get you pushed out. And we had to wait till tide came in enough that the boat would actually float, get unstuck from the ground, from the mud, and then we could push it out. And we did. We walked it out for a little while because it'd have been forever, or we might not have even had it because it was during the wintertime. And
I mean, I was a good 30 feet in from the drop off, because I mean, when I hit that thing, it just kept sliding, and I could feel it. I was not on water. I wasn't sliding on mud like grease.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary feeling when you're doing that. You're kind of sliding in there, and you have no control. You're just at the mercy of, hopefully this boat stops before you hit something hard.
Well, because I know about 3 years ago, same thing happened to some guy. He must have been going really, really fast, but on the north end of the bay by Rocky Creek, there was this like 26-foot boat, Cuddy, sitting on the keel sideways. And now where he was at, I wouldn't even go in with my boat that close. So he must have been really hauling buggy at high tide. And he got way in there, and then he ran aground. And then, of course, with the negative tides in the winter, that boat was there for about 2.5 weeks. You know, I don't think nobody could get him out. Not even Cito. They couldn't get close to it. I don't think they had enough rope to get close enough to try to get him out. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, got a few people on here. Niall says, hope to be back next week with a Steinhatchee fishing report. And then Jim says, hey, Donald's on, and Alejandro.
Now, something else I found out today. Pam was not working at Tampa Fishing Outfitters anymore.
No.
No, I was there today when I went to, to do some stuff, and I said, "Is
Uh-huh.
Pam around today?" And the guy says, "Oh no, Pam is not here anymore. She's doing a little
Really?
bit of writing for a couple of the kayak magazines, I guess,
Uh-huh.
and that kind of stuff. But she's not working there anymore.
Wow. Okay.
And they missed her because she was a good, I mean, very knowledgeable person. She was
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think it's
Well, I guess her schedule's busy with the kayaking and the tournaments and stuff. I
yeah.
mean, that's all she seems to do.
Well, I mean, she's got Ron all hooked up about thinking about getting a kayak and really doing some kayaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to years ago, about 20 years ago, I did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if my back can handle it anymore.
I tried kayaking a couple of times. And first thing is, I guess I wasn't in one of the real fancy ones, but there
Mhm.
was a little bit of water in the kayak, number one, and my butt got wet. And about 30 minutes later, I started itching. And you don't move a lot. You don't move a lot like this in a kayak, and you're gonna go right. I mean, and then the other thing was I was afraid to do anything, and then actually we did this about the third time I was on it. We did a show on kayaks for the guy that sells kayaks up in St. Pete, and he brought like 4 kayaks, 4 or 3. Anyway, oh, me and him, he had one. I was on a kayak. Holta was on a kayak, and I did so good filming, doing all of that. And right at the end, just before I got to the Wheaton Island, that little thing right there, I forgot it was in a kayak. And I did a very stupid thing you don't do. I leaned over and I went, boom. And guess what? They were in a $200 mic. In those days, we had the other mics, the one you had to clip in the back.
Battery packs. Yeah.
Yeah, $200-something mic went boom, boom, into the water.
Lovely.
Oh God, Jesus.
So, Ron, do you have any fish on your lights on the docks?
Yeah, mostly trout, ladyfish, a couple of snook, but mostly trout. There's still
Yeah.
a lot of fish around.
I caught snook in the canal over from his canal last Friday.
Did you?
Yeah, after I left that other place, we went up there just to do something different, and we got 2 small snook, I think, on the canal.
Hmm. Okay.
No trout though. No trout. Oh, and some beautiful, Ron. You have beautiful, gorgeous catfish in that canal.
I do. I have lots of catfish.
They were just beautiful.
Yeah, and I will admit that I do feed them. I feed them instead of throwing food in the trash, I often feed the catfish.
Really?
You're a wonderful guy. See that?
Uh-huh.
Try to be green, do my part, recycle.
I see.
We caught some beautiful, beautiful catfish in that canal.
Wow. Yeah.
So Mike and I went fishing on Saturday. We caught some nice trout.
Yeah. We
We didn't
did.
catch a lot. We probably only caught about 10, but they were nice.
Yeah.
Some nice trout.
Yeah, the spot that we went Saturday, I went back out there today, and that at Mangrove Point there, it's kind of shut down. Today, I think we only got 1 good fish out of there. There's several boats, and probably within an hour, we were all left there. But it completely died just over the weekend. But it was hot for a couple of weeks. I mean, just a lot of boats and catching a lot of fish, and then I would say, yeah, Saturday and today was last days really to really catch anything over there. But I did find them in another location, so I found.
But you don't think like netters went in there and got them or anything like that?
Huh?
You don't think any netters went in there and got them at night or anything?
No, it's
No.
too shallow for any of that.
Okay.
I think it's just they're kind of moving. They're still in that transition, and they're kind of moving out because I went out a little farther on a couple little rock areas that I know, and we caught some decent trout out there today because I went hunting around I went inshore a little bit. There's still a few inshore, um, you know, between the islands and stuff like that. And it's kind of a hit or miss. You're going to catch a few and then nothing, and then maybe catch a few and nothing. But I went out just to play with the rocks and see what's out there, and happened to come across some nice big school of them out there. So they're out a little deeper, about 4 to 5 foot right now. So they're definitely transitioning out, and I would probably say they'll continue to do that.
So what happens this month now as the water temperature goes up in Crystal River? Walk us through the transition of what you see between now and the beginning of May.
So yeah, what's happening is, you got the water temperature was about 77, 78 degrees. So the trout are kind of starting to move to their summer type patterns. Once it gets a certain temperature, they like to keep it a little cool. So they're going to move out a little bit, and then maybe not move all the way out to the 5 to 6 to 10 foot range, but they're going to be in that mid range there. So they're just that whole pod is just slowly moving out to the flats. And like I said, you'll see a few trout still stay in. You'll always have a few trout inside because I can usually catch a few during the summer. But like I said, it's not like you're going to get into school. You're going to catch one here, one here, one here, but they are still there. So you don't have to go farther out on the flat to really get into schools. The redfish are definitely schooling up now, so that's the transition. There, we found some good schools of reds on some of the islands out there, so they are starting. It's not everywhere; it's only in certain key areas right now. But I would probably say that we're going to start seeing more and more reds come out there. The water temperature is just trying to kind of stabilize them. We've had where it's warmed up, get a nasty little cold front, it drops from upper 70s to upper 60s, and that's a big drastic change for them. So until that water temperature stabilizes consistently for a longer period of time, those fish don't really travel out to the outer islands yet. So there's a few fish there, but not a ton. There's a bunch of snook around, seen a lot of those. There's still numerous ones caught. You just have to be very, very sneaky. And you kind of have to know where they're kind of positioning. So most of the time, you're going to kind of run over a school of them, and then the next time you go back about that certain time, you're going to know that, hey, they're kind of sitting there, so we need to fish it before we get to spook them again. So that's kind of where that's at. Right now, there's a bunch of sea turtles roaming around. And this is the time of year where the sea turtles come in. Usually when sea turtles come in, the tarpon are right behind it, and then you've got some of the cobia behind it after that. I haven't heard anybody catch anything yet as far as cobia, but I'm sure there probably has been somebody has caught one or two out there. But I haven't heard reports of it yet. We've got some mackerel in. Got some good mackerel. We also caught some sea bass out there. So you got a lot of things happening. It's kind of transition time. And those sheepshead are starting to move closer inshore. Some of those that were offshore spawning, they're going to start migrating back into the backcountry as well. So I wouldn't doubt you're going to find them on some of those rock piles out there. So that's kind of what's happening up here.
No, I think over here, what I'm looking forward to is, I think when we get about another 3 degrees warmer, we're going to start seeing a lot of the mango snapper get under the bridges and on the rocks, because I already started catching them last week. And we had some 15, 16 inches, which are nice for mango snapper. And we got 10 or 12 that were 10 inches, 11 inches. But I mean, we got like 3 that were over 15 inches, and
Nice.
we lost a couple. But I think the transition is going to be, mackerel's been real heavy inside Tampa Bay. I mean, it's been the best I've seen it in the last 3 years now. It looks like they're coming in really strong, and they're big, real big. The mango snapper, I see them starting to work in. I've caught more redfish in the last 3 trips than I caught probably prior to that, except on a couple of trips where you got lucky, you got 8 or 10 in one day. But overall, I've been catching 3, 4 redfish every trip. They're not big. They're in the 20 to 22 inch, but they're redfish. They're the keeper size. you know.
Yeah.
Uh, Not a lot of sheephead. In fact, a lot of the docks that I've looked at, I think Ron and I had this conversation. Docks that normally you would pull up to and you could see 10, 15, 20 sheephead, you don't see any, not even one.
Hmm.
Except
Yeah.
that one time we found all those rocks, Ron, remember? In that one place,
Yeah.
we saw tons of them there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know why the reason for that was. Now, could it be that a lot of them were putting the black plastic to protect the wood and that has to build back up to get them back feeding? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard some good and bad things about that plastic wrap around pylons. And sometimes it takes a while for the fish to kind of, again, these are all just rumors and theories and stuff like that. But some people say that some of that plastic will give off some bad fumes for a while, until it kind of gets acclimated to the water, all the plastics and stuff like that. And so the fish kind of stay away from it for a while until it's seasoned enough to where they're not affected by it. That's one of the theories and things I've heard. That was up in Pensacola. Because anytime you get a new dock, nobody, as soon as anybody come and replace the piling or anything, or start wrapping those things, all the fish that were there originally, that you were catching them consistently, just disappeared. I
Yeah.
mean, they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stopped finding them. So that was the theory
It,
anyway.
Now,
no,
did
it
you
takes a
ever?
couple years to come back too. They don't come back right away. It takes a
No,
while.
yeah.
It takes a long time for the growth on the black wraps too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had a
I see it.
couple of docks that produced very well and they wrapped them. And it's like everything just died around those docks. They're
Yeah.
just starting to come back now.
Yeah. I think there is something to that theory, is that some of that plastics, we live in a microplastics world now. Everybody has eaten or digested and finding microplastics in just about everything now. And it's probably partially to that. Gives off some sort of fumes or something like that, and the fish just disappear. Um, it's kind of like bleaching. Have you ever heard of bleaching a dock?
Doing what?
Bleaching a dock?
No. I mean, put the chemicals on it.
Well, well, chemicals up there, but there was a time in Pensacola where we had tournaments, and there was a few docks that we had some very nice trout, and it was a trout tournament. Very nice trout that would hang on this dock all the time, and a couple of tournaments were won off this dock. Well, somebody didn't like that, and they went ahead and went out there with a bleach bottle, poked a few holes in it, and hung it from the bottom of the dock
Wow.
and bleached out. It's called bleach in the dock, and every single fish that was in there disappeared, and they never came back.
Isn't
So
that crazy?
yeah, so I think there is, that chemical, whatever's in there, can affect those fish, and it doesn't take much, and they'll abandon it quickly. So, but there were some decent trout on that thing. We're talking trout in the 30s, some beautiful, beautiful sized trout. But kind of happens. Somebody gets mad and hates the fact that somebody keeps winning, and so they figure out where the dock is and they bleached it. So
And
That's too
that's
bad.
crazy. Well, but there's people like that.
yeah.
There used to be some docks in Fort DeSoto area that we used to fish for redfish all the time. And one was like in a little cove and it was a condominium and there was like 15 docks for the people in that was condominium. And 3 or 4 of those docks, man, they would hold in the spring big redfish. And some guy that lived there, I think he's probably the, HOA guy. He comes out one day and says, "You can't fish in here. This is private property." We said, "No, it isn't, sir. You don't own the water. We just got to make sure
Hmm.
that we don't do." Well, he went out there and started lifting the boat up and putting it in the water, lifting it up, putting it in the water, just to create commotion.
Hmm.
I mean, the people will do crazy things.
Yeah, they do. They do. There's plenty of videos out there of what they call Karens on their docks, and you know,
Yeah.
creating, spraying a water hose at the fishermen, or going out
Turning
there
on the
and banging
sprinklers.
broom on the dock. It's just goofy stuff that
Yeah.
you don't own the water, and you can't, just so goofy. But
Although there is some places in the Keys that people own the water.
Mhm.
And there was an article on that about 2 years ago in one of the magazines where they actually called the sheriff, and they were told, yeah, in this particular case, it was like a cove,
Oh, yeah.
and the people in there actually own that water, which
Yeah.
I didn't think you could do. I thought water belonged to the public.
Well, and it depends. It depends on if it was, I'm sure, labeled or descriptive in the property, whether it was navigable waters or was it a man-made created lagoon for the island, and therefore could be deemed as private property. So, it's possible.
Yeah, there's lots of plug canals in the Keys too.
Yeah.
Could have been one
So-
of those. So.
So I don't know. Well, let's see. We only got Jim Pace and we got Jessica. That's the only two fishing reports we got. So let's.
Oh, we
let's
got
move
mine
Jim.
too.
Oh, you got yours didn't show up on my thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I got one in there. It was late because I was on the water, but there's one in there.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's do Jim Pace.
All right.
Hey guys, this is Jim with your Pasco County Fishing Report. Got this one out just a little late on accident today. I didn't realize today was Monday with all the holidays and the weekends going on. Last week was actually quite a great week. The full moon, definitely before and after, got the bite going pretty good. We had bait was interesting. It was hard to find, but once you found it, it was plentiful. I had to definitely rely on looking for birds diving and things like that to find it. Once I found it, chummed it in, it was pretty good. But trout bite was pretty good on floating across the flats, 4 foot-ish, 4.5 foot. I was able to float across a few times and catch some decent trout on white bait, floating it on top of on a bobber there, just floating it down the thing. Also using paddle tails as well when I was just sitting back and relaxing. Redfish bite was very good, along with snook in the afternoon. Morning bite was very tough on the few days I got out. But once the tide got up and was pushing back out, any outflowing creek or any mangrove line that came up off of a deeper flat was definitely very good for both snook and redfish in the afternoon. I actually caught a few flounder in the morning as well on a few of those days, so that was a great bycatch. I have not had a chance to getting out looking for cobia. I have seen people catching them. I personally have not had a chance of catching one as of yet, but I'm looking forward to getting out and trying to find them. This week should be interesting. It looks like there's another little couple fronts coming kind of through. Temperature's going to stay in the mid 70s, lower 80s. So it should be a nice day, nice time to get out on the water. Looking forward to, like I said, getting out and finding those cobia. But getting back to snook, I've definitely seen snook showing up on the beaches. So those of you that have been waiting for them to come out of the rivers and canals, definitely seeing them starting to show up on the beaches as of Saturday. I saw them around. So you can start looking for them up there along with redfish up on those on the beach lines and on those sand flats. But looking forward to getting out again this week, and hopefully I'll have another update for you guys next week. Take care.
All right. Thank you
Thanks,
very
sir.
much, Jim.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess you must have put in your fishing report in late because I didn't see it when I looked at my phone.
Yeah, it was a little late. So
Well, Ron, I apologize.
Sir.
His phone was wet. His foil
Well.
was wet. Oh, his trolling motor
Yeah.
was wet.
Well, nobody else helped me either. So,
You mean Ron
Never
didn't jump in to
No.
get you?
I was fishing on the front of the boat. I didn't know what happened.
Oh God.
yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Mike was actually standing on his polling platform looking for fish.
Yeah. Yeah. I was up there and just trying to get down, trying to get away so the fish wouldn't see me. Because I wanted to scoot up closer, and then pandemonium happened, and that was it.
Oh,
Stupid
God.
thing. Yeah.
I think I was catching a shark. I think I was catching a shark when I was
Yeah, you got a hold of one of those bonnet heads. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the bonnet head came through because I had placed him out there on the other side of like I said, we were trying to corral him in, and he had him there, and I was trying to get any stragglers who were moving out. And we thought we had one hooked up because the ones that I saw were decent. They were big fish, and unfortunately, it was a bonnet head. Took a mud minnow.
All right. Well, that ain't bad.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you.
Action is action.
I thought Ron would have jumped in right away to get you out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Sergio, it was probably about 18 inches of water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but 3.5 feet of
And-
mud.
2 feet of mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was. If you could have saw my face when I jumped in, because I'm thinking, oh, that ain't deep. I'll just jump in, be up to my knees. I'm okay. And I jumped in and went, holy crap! I was up to my waist in mud.
Well, some of that
So-
stuff is that way. There was off of 22nd Street Causeway. I never forget one time. There used to be a bunch of fiddler crabs back in this corner when I was young. And man, I was going to go in there and tear them up one day. Tide was low, no water. I mean, you could just hear. And man, when I stepped on that thing, I must have gone down 2.5 feet, just boom. I almost couldn't get out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was by myself. I had one, because if you put your hands to get out, then your hands went all the way down into the mud.
Yeah.
It was scary.
It's a little soft out there, and I know there's a lot of places like that because I've gotten out of the boat trying to corral some finger mullet one time, and the place I was on was nice and hard bottom. I checked it before getting out, and I started walking a little bit, and apparently I hit the edge of where that hard bottom was and hit that soft, and I was up to my waist in no time in some thick mud and holding a big net, and that was real fun trying to get out of there. But I assumed where I was, it was relatively harder bottom because it's down south a little bit, which it normally is, but not where I jumped in. The phone was on hard bottom, but I wasn't.
Oh God. Oh man. But hey, it's all right. Let's see. Why don't we
Who else
get
we got?
let's get Jessica, huh?
Okay.
Hey guys, Captain Jessica Hanovic. We are on a charter right now. Yesterday we did some fishing for all day. Low tide kind of wasn't doing it too well. The afternoon bite picked up great. We're doing the afternoon high tide right now in Chaz. Water to temperature is 82. And we've been using some shrimp and some mud minnows. And he's got full redfish. And he's got his keeper. And he's got his trout. Tight lines. Get out there and have some fun. If you want to do a booking with me, my phone number is 352-464-7309. Tight lines.
And you can see the dark clouds in the background.
Yeah, that was today. She said on the messages, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get it in, but it's going to be short and quick because I'm out here on the water." And yeah, do what you got to do. No worries.
So let's see what your fish report looks like.
Sure, probably all
Best
wet.
for last.
That's right. The best for last.
Good evening, everybody. Captain Mike Haynes out of Crystal River, Florida. Well, this week has been very, very busy. I've been out on the water about 5 times this week. and which is a lot more than I normally do. So I'm a little tired, but it has been fun. And I can tell you right now, the trout bite this past week has been just phenomenal. Getting out there on the flat, about 2 to 3 foot of water, just kind of drifting across, especially when we had that east wind. Most of the good trout bite seemed to happen on the incoming tide. We're using flukes. Same thing I think I talked about last week. It's just still going. But I will tell you today, it kind of slowed down a little bit. And I think what's happened is these fish are kind of moseying out to the flats, a little deeper water. So you may have to kind of go out to deeper water, 4 or 5 foot, because I think they're kind of moving out a little bit. You're still going to find the stragglers around the islands and in between some of the islands out there and on the flat. You're still going to find a few, but I would say the majority of the fish have started to move offshore right now. So they're going to be a little farther out in the 5 to 6 foot range and so on and so forth as the water temperature heats up. They're just going to continue to bail out to cooler and deeper waters. So just kind of give you a heads up on that. But most of it, again, they've been kind of hitting plastics, just twitching. They've been hitting the popping corks with shrimp or plastics underneath. Today we actually found a few in about 4 to 5 foot of water, and they were actually hitting on, we just put some pinfish on, just letting them flutter down there, no weights, no nothing, just letting them free line around some rocky area, and we did pretty well. Caught a few fish over the 20 mark and just kept letting them go, but it was fun. Caught a few sea bass out there as well because it's the rocks, but they are definitely moving out from the shallow flats. So just make that note in mind that you will find a few out there, but majority of the schools and everything I think are starting to head offshore a little bit because that water temperature is hitting about 78 degrees. So as it warms up, they're going to keep moving offshore. Redfish bite has been good-ish. There's been some schools found out there somewhere in the 20 to 30 mark as far as how many schools. Myself, I didn't really go for them. Most of the time, the schools are out there. There's a bunch of boats sitting on them, so I just didn't fuss with them. I found a few reds here and there on some of the outer islands, but they're not a big majority of fish are out there right now. You kind of have to do the run and gun still, but they are hitting on pinfish, mud minnows, and I think the cut ladyfish is kind of over right now until it gets a little warmer out. But I do mostly everything I caught on the reds was live, so just make sure you got some live bait hitting. Did happen to see some white bait out in an area. So I know some of that's coming in as well. Didn't fish them or anything else like that. Didn't collect them, but definitely saw some big schools of white bait hanging out there on the flats. So those are coming in, which is good news. Snook are still biting. Usually finding those out on the points, especially on the lower tide. They're out on the points of some of these islands and some of this hard bottom. So if you're looking for snook, we still got another month, at the end of this month. So go for those. Other than that, sea turtles are coming in, so the tarpon shouldn't be too far behind, which then also means some cobia coming in. I haven't heard any reports of anybody catching them yet, but it's definitely a possibility. So things are warming up and it's looking good. And y'all get out there and have some fun. I know this week we're going to have a little bit of rain, which will help cool that water down just a tad. But it looks like the weekend looks pretty good. So if you see me out there, say hey. We'll see you next time. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida.
There you go. And Ron, I got to thinking because what you said and Mike, we got another boat show coming up in June. And I think we should let Mike do a seminar on safety for your phone and your trolling motor
There
and
you
your
go.
car keys in the water.
I'm going to be selling containers at the booth.
Yeah.
Do it for $5 to put your phones and everything else in.
There you go. Yeah. And especially marked Ziploc bags and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to try to figure out how to saran wrap your remote control so if it does get wet, it'll stay dry.
Oh, God. you know, one thing that we know each other and we have a good time.
Yeah,
We've all done stupid things like that. You know that?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the business. Stupid
I've
things
never
happen.
dropped the phone over the side of the boat, but I have lost some. I lost a boga grip one time years ago, and that was expensive. And I had a first mate for a while that was retired police guy, and he wanted something to do for a while, and he had booked me before, and I took him out, and I never forget, I had a brand new pair of Gerber pliers. This was like 15, 18 years ago. They had just got like $60 pair. This thing was beautiful. And he went like this to do something, and his hands was wet, and I saw the pliers go, and we were in about 25 feet of water. Needless
Yeah.
to say, bye-bye.
Yeah, no.
And he
I
felt
saw I
so
lost a
bad.
pair of pliers this week. Thankfully they were cheap pliers, but yeah, I grabbed them and went to go use them, and they just kept going out of my hand and into the water.
That
That's why I carry two always. I got 2 pair of scissors, 2 pair of pliers on the boat. Always
Amen
have
to
a
that.
backup. Yeah,
And
and
Jim
now I'll
Pace
have a
says,
backup remote.
Jim Pace says, funny, but I dropped my trolling motor remote in the live well last week.
Yep, I've had that happen. Those things hang down on your neck,
Well,
and you
you
go
bend
into the
over,
bait well to grab some, and
Yeah,
they're just
and it
dip
goes
right
right
in.
in.
And it's like, really? You would think, and of course they make everything nowadays to break, and they want you to buy more stuff because that's how they make money. But you would think they'd make remote controls for trolling motors completely 100% waterproof.
or
We're
like
in
a
the water.
phone. I mean, it don't have to be waterproof for 6 or 7 feet for 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, because most of the time you're going to be in shallow water
Yeah.
with the trolling motor.
Yeah, because I mean these remotes are not cheap. Mine is, and it doesn't even have the LCD display like a lot of the other Minn Kotas do. And that stupid little remote with 2 batteries in it, $156. I mean, seriously, it's just kind of goofy. Make it waterproof, seriously.
They ain't
That's
listening.
my complaint.
They're not going to listen. Well, anyway,
No,
so
no, they want you to buy more stuff.
there you go. My forecast for the week is ain't going to be much, because I don't think the wind's going to die. I hope it does. If it dies,
Yeah,
I'm ready to go out there and catch fish, because I know this fish starting to get really active. So all you can do is try to hope maybe if you got a chance in the break in the weather. But man, everything that I'm looking at, I think Ron and I, we looked at the wind finder today. Everything is
Good wind.
13 to 30 to 34 mile an hour. I mean, it's not,
Mhm.
it's heavy duty stuff.
yeah. Yeah, well, as at the end of the week, the weekend so far looks okay, but everything changes, as you know, because I've got
Well,
some
Friday
charters.
down here,
Okay.
Friday does not look good at all.
No,
Thursday and Friday looks terrible right now.
Yeah.
Now, things can change. That's 2 or 3 days away, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, because I mean they were calling for this rain to hit us earlier today, and it didn't. I mean, I was thinking we were gonna have to fight wind and rain and everything else and try to get in quick, but it
Well,
stayed off
you didn't get no rain at all this afternoon?
just till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, we got off the water about 1 o'clock. We went early because we went really early just to make sure that we'd get in the time because it was just a half day. But we were back in by 1 o'clock easily, and I assumed at that point it would start raining, but it really didn't start till about 3 or 4 o'clock.
Well, I mean, it got dark here around 4:30, but then the rain started about 5:30, and it was pretty hard there for a while, which we needed. So.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we're out of time. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget Fishing Adventures Florida on YouTube, Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, Outdoor Action TV, Angling TV, and Gen 7 Outdoors. Please, if you like it, subscribe. It really helps us a lot. God
Yes,
bless
it does.
you, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Have a good week.